He was investigating a killer that didn't exist until he realized it was him. That's what the voice on the tape said. A grainy, cracked cassette mailed, no, dumped, at a local radio station in Pittsburgh, 1983. No return address, no fingerprints, just the words, "Play me." The station aired it once, live, and then gone. The tape disappeared. No record, but those who heard it that night, yeah, they never forgot. Some say their radios played static at exactly 3:13 a.m. every year on that date. Others claim to see a man in a trench coat just standing there, across the street, watching, like he was waiting for something, or someone. That tape was labeled File X-13, and the man on it, former FBI Special Agent Thomas Calder, declared dead 5 years earlier. But here's where it gets weird. June 3rd, 1978, last known sighting. Calder was found in his car, parked outside an old church in Elk County, Pennsylvania. He was upright, eyes open, staring at nothing. And, get this, his mouth was stuffed with paper, his own case files, soaked in blood. But the blood wasn't his. Engine was cold, car had no keys, and the dashboard clock frozen, 3:13 a.m. Now, Calder wasn't some rookie. He'd been with the Bureau 14 years. Behavioral Science Unit. The guy was a legend. Cracked the Henderson Strangler case, tracked the Appalachian Cannibal. No joke, his instincts were razor sharp, until everything started pointing right back at him. It started 6 months before that night, December 1977. An unmarked envelope shows up on Calder's desk. No stamp, no messenger, just 2 handwritten letters, X-13. Inside, 7 photographs. Gruesome beyond belief. A woman in a bathtub, wrists slit, but the water's clear. No blood. A man hanging from a tree, his insides wrapped around the branches. A kid, maybe 7 or 8 years old, mouth sewn shut, eyes removed, left in an abandoned gas station. Different cities, different years. No suspects, no links. But in the corner of every photo, way in the background, you can see him. That same blurry figure, trench coat, same building, never looking at the camera. Always watching. Calder thought it was a prank at first, but the deeper he dug, the colder things got. He tried opening a task force. Denied. Tried pulling old records. Access revoked. His FBI login frozen. His coworkers stopped talking to him, like he was radioactive. Officially, the Bureau said there is no File X-13. So he went rogue, started investigating solo. His trail led him to a nowhere town in Pennsylvania, Ravens Hollow. You won't find it on any map now, but back then it sat just off Route 422, a forgotten place. One of the murder sites. Locals warned him, told him not to stay past midnight. One old guy at a gas station said, "The shadows here don't just follow, they learn." But Calder didn't scare easy until the clocks in his motel room froze at 3:13 a.m. every night, 3 nights in a row, same time, same silence. Then static on the TV, even when it was unplugged. Then the sound of breathing. Not his. He started documenting everything. Cassette tapes, dozens of them. Found years later during a building foreclosure in Pittsburgh. Misfiled, labeled wrong. But his voice, shaky, whispering, still intact. Tape 04, Side B, June 17th. All 7 victims filed restraining orders. Against me. Same badge number, same name. I've never seen them before. Never. Then came the nightmares. Calder described seeing murders before they happened, waking up in alleys with blood on his hands. He mentioned hearing his voice on the phone, saying things he swore he never said, and always behind the static, laughing. There's one tape where he breaks down. "I saw myself in the photos. I'm the blurry man. I've always been the blurry man." He reached out to a parapsychologist at Georgetown, Dr. Elliot Crane. They met once. Crane disappeared a week later. No struggle, no note. Just gone. Calder later found his apartment, empty except for one message on the wall, written backward. I showed him what he already knew. May 1978, troopers in West Virginia pulled Calder over. His car was soaked in blood. He didn't know whose. He had a revolver, but no memory of using it. He was taken into custody. 2 days later, he was out. No explanation. Then the hospital where they evaluated him burned to the ground the very next night. The cause? gas leak. But first responders said they smelled nothing, just thick, choking smoke. One nurse swore it smelled exactly like what she'd encountered during an exorcism overseas. That was the last time Calder was seen alive. His motel room was left behind like a crime scene. Walls covered in pinned photos, cases he was never assigned to. Every face scratched out, every mirror smashed. On the bed, a box, labeled "Do Not Open." Inside, childhood drawings. His. And in every one, a tall, faceless man in a trench coat. One scribbled note read, "He lives in the quiet parts of your brain." Another, "He tells me who to find." In his final journal entries, Calder wrote backward, pages full of Latin, strange symbols, ancient languages, over and over again. He lives in the gap between thoughts. A week before he died, he sent a photo to Agent Diana Reyes, his old partner. A morgue body. Toe tag read, Thomas Calder. Death date, January 5th, 1977. A full year before all this. Reyes swears she went to his funeral that year, even touched his hand. So how, she asked, did she have coffee with him the following fall? She wasn't the only one. A janitor at Quantico saw him in the hall. Cafeteria workers said they served him meals. Same face, same coat. He hadn't aged a day. Some believe he never left, that he still works the Bureau's coldest, darkest cases. Others think he wasn't real at all, just a shell. A vessel for something far older, something that wears faces like masks. Officially, the FBI called it mental breakdown. Files were destroyed. The motel was demolished. Ravens Hollow, removed from GPS in 2004. Route 422's exit, paved over. Today, the area's fenced off. Locals say they still hear static and faint clicking, like a recorder starting to play. But in 2012, a cold case team in Oregon found a single forgotten evidence box. Inside, a crime scene photo, blurry man in the corner, badge visible, name tag, Calder, T. The victim, she'd written in blood, "He comes when you look for him. You become him." A week later, the entire cold case unit was shut down. One agent vanished. 3 others died. Mysterious causes. But the tape? It resurfaced. One last time. Mailed to a podcast host in Detroit. Same voice, same static, same words. If you're listening, he's already behind you. But that wasn't the end. In 2016, a technician at the Bureau's archives reported hearing whispering from a sealed evidence locker. They checked the footage. Security cams showed a shadow, long, thin, moving against the light. No one was inside. Then came the mass dream events in 2018. Over 24 unrelated people across 5 states reported identical dreams. A man in a trench coat, an old church, the phrase, X13 is awake. None of them knew each other. None had ever heard of Calder. And just last year, a journalist investigating the case vanished. Her last audio recording, 5 words, "He's not a memory, he's real." No one's allowed to talk about X13 anymore, because Calder didn't just investigate a killer, he became one. Or maybe he always was. And if you're still listening, maybe you are now too.